to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock. He hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it. The Ducks have won.
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Catch me. Touchdown, Oregon.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
We've got the Coaches Show tonight, and we've got Dan Lanning right after practice in just a moment, Duck football head coach. Tonight on the Coaches Show, Dan Lanning joining Jerry and Jorgie here, and Casey Rogers will be with us here in the Country Financial Studio. I'll be talking with the Duck veteran, and I mean that sincerely, veteran defensive lineman. Casey has played more football games than most people ever do in their lives. We're going to talk with him coming up on the Coaches Show tonight. Some good news about the CFP rankings. Troy Franklin, also Rob Moseley, GoDucks.com editor-in-chief, joining us. Some men's basketball updates because they had a full spooky media day yesterday, Halloween afternoon. Unfortunately, as Dana Altman outlined, Ducks are a little banged up. N'Faly Dante, Jermaine Kusnard, Jackson Shellstad, Mookie Cook, all a little bit banged up. So here's hoping they get healthier here coming up for Monday. And reminder, Monday, 1:30 tip-off. Ducks open the season against Georgia in Las Vegas. I'll have the call, which means we don't have a Duck Insider for you on Monday. But we've got a full slate for you coming up next week. All right, Coaches Show tonight, though, 7 o'clock across the Oregon Sports Network and the Oregon football social media channels. Encourage you to join us. I'll do my best to take a few questions from you and ask Coach Lanning. And then the CFP rankings are important. They might come up tonight. Oregon football, number 6 in the first college football playoff rankings revealed last night. Number 6, the top one-loss team. The Ducks are 7-1, 4-1, the nation's highest-ranked one-loss team, and are one of 6 Pac-12 teams in the top 25. The Ducks, right behind number 5, Washington, representing the Pac-12 in the top 10. Number 16, OSU, 18, Utah, 19, UCLA, number 20, USC. Oregon has now appeared in the CFP rankings 35 times since it began in 2014, when Oregon went on to play in the inaugural college football playoff national championship game. This is the Ducks' 20th top 10 CFP ranking and highest since coming in at number 6 in November of 2022. The Ducks, though, I think you look ahead at who's in front of them. A couple teams that still have to play each other. Oregon might get a rematch with Washington. I'm just saying that the goals are still out in front of the Ducks, aren't they? And speaking of goals, Troy Franklin, Oregon wide receiver, has been named to the Maxwell Award watch list. The Maxwell Award is presented annually to the most outstanding player in college football. Franklin joins Oregon quarterback Bo Nix on the watch list. The semifinalists will be announced on Monday, November 13th. Voting will commence on November 14th. He's been one of the nation's top playmakers this year. He's 7th in the country and 2nd in the Pac-12 with 108.4 receiving yards per game. The juniors caught 52 passes for 867 yards and 9 touchdowns. He's tied for most in the Pac-12 and 5th in the FBS. He's been a playmaker. He's been one of the best receivers in the country. And we actually talked to him after practice today. We've got that for you coming up later on this week. Let's hear from Dan Lanning. Every time we do, it's brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Oregon head coach Dan Lanning after practice today.
2 days of work so far. I mean, Monday was a good day of work as well, but really intense practice today. Finish off with a red area period that was a lot of fun. Seeing our guys compete, so we can open it up.
I think Xavier Carlson unique among the pass rushers in this league and the guys who so far had a lot of success against.
Yeah, I mean, we've been able to see some really good ones so far this year. I think the size is probably different for these guys. You know, they have great size, and that's something that shows up. And they're able to get into some sub packages on third down that can create some issues. But obviously, a talented player.
Dan, 2 turnovers going into your 9th game is a pretty remarkable stat. What do you attribute mostly to that stat?
Well, good quarterback play, good play calling, guys that are conscientious of taking care of the ball in practice. We have a ball security coach. Coach Locke takes that very serious. We work it every single week, but I think every team in the nation works it every week. Some of it's probably good fortune, right? And some of it's about us continuing to focus on it and making it a big detail. When you don't turn the ball over, you have a chance to win, and that's something we want to continue to emphasize.
To that point, how impressive was it that it was a full season and almost more than a half that a running back hadn't put the ball on the ground?
Yeah, I mean, that's the expectation, right? It's the expectation, and we're going to continue to push to make sure that's the expectation.
You mentioned on Saturday the offensive line no longer being a question. I wanted to ask you just how the guys who lead that room, Alik, Mike, Cutter, kind of how they complement each other well and what that group does so well.
Yeah, we call it the law firm, right? We've got, Coach Terry. What up, baby? Yeah, the law firm. Cutter obviously does a phenomenal job. He's a great young coach. We have some experience in that room with Coach Kavanaugh that's been doing it for a long time. He brings phenomenal juice. He's our toughness coach for this team. And then Coach Terry, I think, is likable, learnable, and our guys have really, taken to his approach. The details that those guys emphasize, the way that unit plays as a cohesive unit. I mean, I think that really comes from those three guys. So they've done a great job this year. Excited to see what they continue to do.
Who came up with the law firm nickname?
I honestly have no idea who came up with the law firm, but it fits. It fits.
How similar is what Spavital is doing offensively there to what Kenny did here a year ago, or what? It's the same tree of guys. So, how similar is it to a lot of the things that you've seen or that you've had yourself recently?
Yeah, I honestly think it's actually quite a bit different. They're a little bit more of an air raid team, but they've incorporated some of the run game that they've used in North Texas, a couple other places. A lot of Y in the core runs. They've had a lot of success with hat plays. Putting the ball inside with a tight end insert and then throwing the ball on the perimeter. But there's definitely some differences. The tempo is a big difference. How fast they go. Like I said, they've run more plays I think than anybody in our conference. And what they've really changed from last year, this year, they've been able to get the run game going, so they've done a really good job with the run game.
I know we've asked you a few times about how frequently you guys rotate defensive linemen. Just how beneficial is that at this point in the year when you guys are relatively fresh when a lot of teams aren't?
Yeah, it's beneficial. The more guys you can play, the fresher they can be when they're on the field, the higher level of play that they can, emphasize and execute is really important.
Is it hard to get guys to buy into that early in the year when you got a bunch of competitive dudes who want to probably play 60 snaps a game? And
No, I mean, proof's in the pudding, right? I mean, if you're honest and open with, hey, here's our plan, here's how we're going to execute it, I think guys understand that and they want to go out there and do it.
You speak to Keon's buy-in and unselfishness in that regard, because a lot of guys in his position may not look to stay when you're the fifth or sixth guy, but to buy in and see a role and be delivering when he is out there for you guys.
Yeah, Keon's a leader for us. I mean, he's part of our leadership group because he does all the right things, because when he does get in the game, he finds ways to impact play and impact the ball and coach on the sideline. And when he's in the game, he's able to, execute movements. And I'd say there's a lot of guys that are in that category that play at a really high level when they get their number called, execute at a high level, and then have high expectations for their teammates and challenge their teammates to be really good as well.
What's the impact that when you have the number one, number two offense in whatever category, when you have an offense like that, and Troy specifically, in recruiting at the receiver position, when historically that had not been a position of great strength here historically, and you're going about changing it, what does it mean in the recruiting trail when you could sell, hey, we have a 1,000-yard receiver who might be a Bolitnikoff finalist potentially? Yeah, just that the history has nothing to do with who we are now, right? And if you watch who we are now, I think it's really evident that we're a high attacking offense. We pass the ball down the field. We run the ball really well. So if you're an offensive player, that's something you probably want to be a part of. And you can't necessarily look at the past and see what the future holds, right? What you can do is look at the present and say, okay, that's probably an indication of what they're going to continue to do. Put in the context, like how good Troy is, and that, again, like comparing him to other guys nationally, there are other receivers who are just more household names, probably going to get a little bit more love. One might be a Heisman finalist. And the Pac-12 pass defenses outside of your own are not that strong this year. So how do you put into context exactly how good he is? Because he's leading the country in receiving yards against winning teams. There's only a couple of teams, though. So probably leaning on that stat that you just pulled, right? Leading the country in receiving yards versus winning teams. He's a good player, and all you have to do is turn on the film and you can see that. He's been a good player for us ever since I've been here, and he's elevated his play this year from last season. I think that's evident when you watch him.
Well, Coach Kavanaugh, the toughness coach. Explain what that means exactly.
We say we want to be a tough program, and I think, there's a lot of details that go into being a tough program, but, toughness is coming up and showing up to practice every day. Not taking a play off, finishing a play. That's something that we coach in this program, right? And we want to make sure that we see it. So when you put one person in charge of it, they can identify it and make sure that you're doing it right.
What goes into the prep work for going against Cal and that RPO-heavy offense? I don't expect you to give exact details, but what goes into some of that prep work for the RPOs?
Yeah, just ultimately what I said earlier in the week, that almost every play has two plays, right? There's a pass play and there's a run play involved. And the quarterback has, full discretion on where he takes the ball, if he's handing it off or he's throwing it outside. So it means it's really complementary play. It means 11 guys doing their job, right, and executing at a high level for you to be able to take away the plays that they do successfully.
Last question.
When you're looking into a transfer or any player, recruit for that matter, their pass, if they may have a instance of some maturity issues or some transgressions maybe off the field, like what just goes into clearing somebody of that to where you feel comfortable bringing on somebody who might have, like I say, a relatively minor issue in the past?
Yeah, I would say, we evaluate each person individually and their circumstance individually. I would say that if you went back and looked at my past when I was younger, I probably made some mistakes as well, and I'm glad that people took chances on me and kept growing me. We're going to do that same thing, but ultimately, it's more about the personality and the character fit of what kind of person that is, bringing that into our program. We want to bring good people in here. I got 3 boys that are running around this building all the time, and I want them to be around good people. So you can assess what good people are. And as you go through that recruiting process, we want to find good people that we can bring into our program that are going to buy into our culture and what we're about.
Speaking of good people, that's head coach Dan Lanning. Rob Moseley's here in the studio now, and we're going to talk some football, a few other subjects when we come back with the GoDucks.com editor-in-chief, the man that decides what's on the front page of GoDucks.com. Big job. Rob Moseley's here. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider. Rob Moseley hands out dried fruit on Halloween, according to Alex Stimson. Wow.
I handed out nothing on Halloween.
Shots fired. You handed out nothing.
Yeah, so
nothing?
we have a very nice, friendly to us, but reactive dog.
Oh, yeah.
So the last thing we want is the doorbell being rung all night. So
Right.
For the last few years, we just put a bowl out with a sign that says, hey, please don't disturb the dog.
Yeah.
Take what you need.
Yeah.
But then we leave, too. Just to, like, make, all the lights are out. Don't ring our doorbell, please.
Speaking of doorbells, my computer's dinging.
We got back. That was funny. That was a funny coincidence.
Yeah.
We got back from a night out with some friends last night, and I don't think any candy was taken.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
we live kind of
so you didn't
at
have
the end of this cul-de-sac.
You didn't have the one kid though that just dumps the whole thing into his bag.
See, I think that with like the Ring doorbells now, there's like
People
you
don't
can't
do
get
that.
away with that anymore. Yeah.
Interesting. Do you have one of those? So they knew that they couldn't get away with it.
For all of you potential thieves out there, yes, we do.
There you go. We actually do have one of those.
Do you?
So I'll tell you what. Last night it was an amazing thing. I was putting our son to bed, and my wife just had the doorbell cam open on her phone so that she was like, "Oh, people are coming. I'll be back." Before the doorbell even rang, like she was down there. She was ready. My wife loves Halloween.
It's kind of spooky.
She loves
She's
the
one of those
costumes.
Yeah. I was with a group, my wife included. We're just not big. Like
I'm not either.
Yeah.
I like the candy.
We did like our normal trivia night on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was all Halloween themed. We came in last place.
So you're not good at Halloween.
No.
Yeah. I have no problem with Halloween. I've just never been like a big Halloween guy.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. You talk about the dog. Again, my wife being the smart person that she is.
Right. With one exception.
Obviously, yes. Multiples that have come from that one bad mistake. We know it. But so she like gates off the front door, and so our dog he barks once, and then he just sits there and looks at the kids, and he's like, "Oh, hey,
what's going on?
Like you're fine.
Not an intruder."
Yeah.
But I was here in case you were.
That's right. Isn't it funny how dogs are?
Yeah, I mean, my guy's like, we got him, and we knew he was gonna be a challenge, and we were training him, and then COVID hit.
Really hard.
And we just went 2 years where we couldn't. All we wanted to do was socialize him. And then we went like 2 years where we couldn't socialize him.
Yep.
And then we came out of COVID like, well, he probably is who he is at this point. He thinks he's part of a 3-man wolf pack.
So your dog is an example of how so many people were impacted.
Yes.
By the socialization. No, I get it. Anyway, he's Rob Moseley, and he's with us in the Country Financial Studio. Football, Rob.
Yes.
Open floor. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm excited to be back at Autzen Stadium, watch the Ducks.
Yeah. Sure.
Hope other folks are too.
Yeah.
Still some tickets available.
That's
true. I mean, I think the get-in is like under $50, right?
Yeah. And actually, this is a good time to mention that we've been talking about this on the show and other platforms that Cal, for some reason, has been the one game that tickets haven't gone quickly. Well, I'm told actually that there might be a push at the end of the week, and it could actually end up being a sellout. So fans, let's go!
Yeah. Make it happen.
Let's go.
Make it happen.
I want Rob to have to wear the noise-canceling headphones.
Yeah.
Have to. It's a requirement. That's what I need.
Yeah, I mean, full disclosure, I'm going to anyway.
No, you're not. If it's like super quiet, you wouldn't put them on.
No,
Would
absolutely.
you?
Yeah, it helps me focus.
Oh.
I put on some In Flames or some Kill Switch Engage.
You are an ADD guy.
Yeah. No, I don't think so in general.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like because you need to like laser focus when the game's going on, maybe that's like.
But I like create chaos. I do it when I'm reading too, and like Dave McCullough, like on the medical staff, it blows his mind. Like I'm listening to like metal, but like reading a book, but it just like that cacophony in my ears blocks everything else, and I almost don't hear it.
I think I mean, what calms you is a preference.
Yeah, totally.
I'm with you on that front. Anyway.
Yeah. To quote Boogie Nights, as I do so often, wear what you dig.
Yeah.
And whether it applies to clothing or anything else, just do your thing. Wear what you dig. I can't tell you how often that line pops into my head. If somebody's doing something weird, just, hey man, wear what you dig.
This has been one of the best segments we've ever done. Halloween, and it's because you had the Diet Mountain Dew.
It could be.
That's what it is. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I got to go up and back to Portland tonight,
Yeah.
So I got to make sure I'm
properly
sufficiently caffeinated for the drive, particularly the drive home.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm with you.
Dark.
I'm with you.
Be a little rainy.
Never rains at Autzen Stadium.
No, but sometimes it does in like Albany.
As Troy points out, though, it does monsoon when the Ducks play Cal.
Yeah. No, sometimes it drizzles.
Yeah.
Sometimes it pours.
Yeah.
It never rains.
Never rains. Never rains. What do you think, though, heading into this game? We were just talking about this on the Quack Minute. I think, turnovers, that was a nice point that Coach Lanning made today. We just played the presser before you got here. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think this is, we all see the point spread. And we know kind of what, the punditry expects to happen.
Punditry.
Come
Good.
Saturday.
The punditry.
Yeah. The talking heads.
Right. Them.
They.
Anyway.
And so, what you have to do in a situation like that, first and foremost, is not hurt yourself. Yeah. You can't take care of business if you're just kneecapping yourself. So you can't turn it over. You can't have a bunch of penalties. I mean, obviously that's been a bugaboo for this team all year, is the penalty situation, and it kind of, ebbs and flows, but it still is kind of lurking out there as something that hasn't been totally cleaned up, and it has been a team that's been great at taking care of the ball. But I think, as you heard Coach Lanning say, some of that's probably a little bit of luck. You know, you need some fortune in some situations. A tipped ball that falls to the turf instead of getting picked off, or a ball that pops out and then pops right back into the ball carrier's arms or something like that, instead of being bouncing free for a fumble. Not to suggest those things specifically have happened, but that's the kind of like football luck that you can sometimes benefit from. And so just first and foremost, don't hurt yourself. I mean, obviously we kind of know what this team's ceiling is starting to look like, and it's really, really high. And so if you play how you're supposed to play, you're going to have a good chance most times you take the field. Yeah. But if you hurt yourself, no bueno.
And to that point, this game, it's the next game, right? Coach Lanning talks about it, that's got to be the most important thing. But then there's also this outside influence of, hey, the CFP rankings came out last night.
For sure.
The Ducks are number 6, top-ranked, one-loss team. You and I aren't ignoring that.
No.
Certainly the team isn't ignoring it, but that just tells you that the goal is still able to be realized at the end of the year.
No, I think what you hope, with where this program's at and the tradition in recent years, is that you see that and go, yeah, that's where we're supposed to be.
Right.
We're supposed to be in this position where all the games in November are going to be really high stakes and, perceived to have extra pressure on them, but we're not going to feel extra pressure because this is where we're supposed to be.
Right.
Now, you got to take care of business. You got to prepare the right way, and then you got to go execute the right way. But it doesn't feel like anything different because it feels normal.
Yeah.
Now, it's easier said than done, but I think I would hope and think that that's where this group this year is at.
Agreed.
They've been wanting to get to this level after last year's disappointment. They want to give themselves another chance to finish better than they did last year. I mean, hopefully, obviously, you stay healthier than you did down the stretch last year, knock on wood. But it's not an oddity. It's not something to get overly celebratory about. Yeah. It's where you're supposed to be right now.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. Man, that's kind of how I reacted even. Like seeing it, like, all right, 6, yeah, okay.
I was surprised. I mean, I wondered if maybe 7th or 8th was in the cards just based on kind of some other resumes. And it was nice to see the Pac-12 had 2 of the top 6. It was not great to not see one of the top 4.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
So a lot of chances to kind of earn one of those spots.
Well, and the committee even said about Washington, right? Like, had concerns with the ASU game, had concerns with some of those other games that Washington's had. So
no doubt. Yeah.
That's what they got to figure out.
I saw some crazy stat about like they were outgained, lost the turnover margin, and then one other crazy thing, like 3 games in a row, but won all 3 of them.
Yep.
And it like hadn't happened in decades or something.
Yeah.
And so those are it's not that's not an eyeball test thing. It's not like, we all watched the last couple of UW games and thought, oh, wow, they haven't looked the same as when we saw them.
Right.
But the analytics, the numbers suggest that, that there's been some fortune there. But good teams benefit from fortune. I mean, it's like Coach Lanning's point about turnovers.
Yep.
I think you look at any really successful Oregon team, what was it, the 2014 game in Washington State? Is that where like Marcus had to go like 21 of 24 or something like that?
Got sacked like 6 times, something. Yeah.
And like I want to say there was a play at the end by the Oregon defense that like could have been PI but wasn't called. It's even the best of teams sometimes have some narrow escapes. I mean, that you just that's gonna happen just with the parity and just with the nature of young kids playing a game. Sometimes you're not at your best every single week. It's a really hard thing to do. So I don't mean to give UW any credit because they know where they can go. But in my mind, it would have been nice to see for the conference's sake.
I agree with that.
In the top 4.
I agree with that, and I also think that this is the first one. We'll see what happens in a few weeks.
Totally.
It'll
sort itself out.
Just ask our boss. Rob Mullins had to sit in those meetings once or twice in his career, so we'll see what happens. Rob Moseley joining us. So, Rob, I have an important question because women's basketball is officially underway. So, look what I found, Rob, in storage.
Classic.
The Bev Smith bobblehead.
That's glorious.
Coach Bev Smith. It's now sitting on the desk in a permanent spot. So
the thing that's crazy is like she pretty much looks the same. Like,
yeah,
she doesn't really age.
Yeah,
and it's not fair.
Yeah, timeless.
Yes,
if you will. So the important question is that now that women's basketball season is officially underway, what do you think it would take to convince the current coaches? Because this was also part of a Coach Kent promotion as well. I'm told, and we looked it up. Scott did. Then we went back into the archives, and it was bobblehead giveaway. So I just want to start the Kelly Graves and Dana Altman bobblehead campaign right now. What do you think?
I suspect one would be much more open to the idea than the other.
I think you're right. Basketball season's coming up, though.
It is. Yeah, it's yay.
The overlap season is like when Rob goes into this dark place.
I mean, the amazing news is with the level that the football team is playing at, the next couple months have the chance to be just
bonkers
from a football perspective.
Yeah.
And then, so now you have basketball starting too, and it's a little overwhelming. It, as always, it beats having a real job.
That's right.
But on the rare occasions that this job does feel like work, it tends to be during those overlaps. And we're diving right in next week. What do we have, 3 home games next week in basketball?
That's right.
Let's go.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, 3. 2 for the women and 1 for the men.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the men are in Las Vegas.
On Monday.
So, yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at home next week.
Yep.
Let's go.
Women on Monday and on Wednesday.
Right.
Men on Friday as a nice little lead-in to another football game.
It's a big weekend, personally, for me.
Is it?
Yes, because my mother, who went to Cal, is coming up this
Friend
weekend.
of Duck Insider.
Yes. My brother, who went to Oregon, is coming. And then my nephew, who is a huge Oregon fan, is coming.
So raised right.
So, yeah, absolutely, yeah. We got him early. And I'm pretty sure I made him a Penguins fan, too, which is
That's good.
Just great. Even though the Penguins are hot garbage this year. But yeah, I'm looking forward to having my family in town this weekend.
So,
really nice.
so serious question, because I also have family with Cal connections, and they will be at the game.
Okay.
Are you like? Do you like force your mom to wear Oregon gear? Do you let her wear Cal gear because she went there? What's the Moseley family?
No,
practice?
I think if I remember right, I think she tends to wear like a Cal T-shirt and then like an Oregon
hat,
pullover or something.
Yeah. Okay. All right. See, that's what I was gonna tell my family. My niece is coming. And she is, her father is a big Cal fan, and my cousin-in-law, if you will, she I don't think really has an allegiance other than just wants my cousin to be happy.
Yeah.
But I've gotten my niece some Oregon stuff. She really likes ducks.
Yeah.
Like she calls them quack quacks.
The animal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm already making inroads.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering here, Rob, like this is great. I needed to ask somebody this. Like, if I just give her a bunch of Oregon gear when she's here and just say, 100%. Like, hey, this is only for you.
Yeah. No, when I say I made my nephew a Penguin fan, like, I just bought him some gear and took him to a Penguin game. Like, that's all you need to do. And then, boom.
All right. Michelle in the Duck store, I'm coming.
Yep, open up that well. Yeah, I got him. I got my guy jersey.
Okay.
Hopefully something somewhat in line with what we're wearing this week.
This is good.
So he's going to fit right in.
Good.
If he's within close proximity of Bo Nix, he might faint.
Oh, sure, as one does.
Right. Yeah. Big fan.
Good.
Big Bo Nix guy.
Good. Well, this has been helpful for me. So I think that the edict will be that the party in general has to be split between Oregon and Duck gear, or Oregon and Cal gear.
Yeah, I would just recommend naked, blatant bribery.
All right.
To get the niece on board.
This has been great.
Yeah.
He's Rob Moseley, editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com. Rob, safe drive to Portland.
Thanks, bro.
Have some fun up there.
Yep.
Coach's show tonight, so we've got you entertained for your drive home.
Perfect.
Yeah. Can listen to Casey Rogers.
Perfect.
We're going to talk to.
Oh, geez, he'll be entertaining.
We're going to talk to Grandpa about what it's been like playing as many games as he's played.
Yeah.
I mean, you look
How
at
many
some
has
of
he
the
played?
guys.
Is it 50 something?
I'm going to have to ask him. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Because he dealt with some injuries.
Yeah.
So he hasn't had quite
He's
as many
awesome,
starts as
man.
Bo.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's going to be a fun conversation today.
He's one of those guys, it's like, I can't wait till like a couple years down the road we could just share a beverage and just hang out, you know, like.
And talk about lacrosse.
Sure.
He's a huge lacrosse
Big
guy.
Upstate New York guy, right?
Yeah. Huge lacrosse guy. If he wasn't playing football, he'd be playing or coaching lacrosse. So that's tonight on the Coaches Show.
All right.
Rob, thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you.
Appreciate the time. When we come back, a number of Duck football student athletes met with the media that we haven't gotten to yet. Kyrie Jackson, Brandon Dorless, Keon Ware-Hudson, all yesterday. We're doing that next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider is presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Oregon men's basketball media day yesterday. We're just getting all the videos up to the Go Ducks YouTube. If you want to check it out, we'll have them for you on the show here over the next couple days. I do, though, want to get back to football with Kyrie Jackson. I haven't heard a lot from him this year. He's a guy that really talks with his game, isn't he? Kyrie Jackson's been one of the best defensive backs in the entire conference this year. Great addition to Oregon secondary, and he met with the media this week talking Ducks and Cal, 2:30 on Saturday. Here's Kyrie Jackson.
Coming off a big win, some people might be wondering if you guys might have a letdown at all this week. Have you seen any signs of that from your group?
I think we're just keeping the main thing. Taking practice serious day at a time. I feel like we had an intense practice today on Tuesday. It was real physical, so I think we're making the right steps.
They run a lot of RPOs. What challenge does that put on a defense, and especially you at corner? Does that do anything for you, or is that more for the front seven guys?
Yeah, just make sure that your eyes are right in coverage. You don't want to think you're reading a run, and then they might pull it and still end up on the ball. So you just got to be a little bit more disciplined in coverage and where your eyes are.
You made a lot of plays at the line of scrimmage, 4 tackles for loss. Is that something you kind of envisioned was going to be in the game plan defensively for you guys at corner?
Yeah, I knew this game, last game, we was going to have to show up and run a lot just because Utah was a top 5 team running the ball. So it was just something that we prided ourselves in that upcoming week. And it's always something that we are capable of. It's just a matter of when we have to really show it.
It wasn't just that game, and you've had interceptions and pass coverage, you've had sacks, some things that you just didn't have necessarily a chance to show at Alabama. What is it about how you're playing right now, or about the positions you're being put in this defense that's allowing you to do all this?
It's really just opportunity, honestly. It's not really a shot or anything. It's just my coaches, Coach Lanning and Coach Tosh and Coach Meat, just put me in the right positions to make plays and just executing. That's all it really came down to.
What's more satisfying for you, a sack or a pass breakup?
Probably pass breakup. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your journey, Kyrie, because reading back to high school and stuff, like you signed with Arizona Western Did you actually end up going there, or did you go to Fort Scott directly, or what happened in 2018?
Yeah, I went there for like 2 weeks, but then I really thought I was about to stop playing football. I was like 17 at the time, and I was scared being that far, so I came back home, sat around, watched some of my friends play big-time ball. 2 of my close friends were like 4- and 5-star recruits. Then I decided I was going to give it another chance, and everything done worked out ever since I did that.
So what happened in the fall of 18 then? Like,
I ended up going to Fort Scott. Then once I went to Fort Scott, racked up some offers, probably like 12 or 13. Then after that season, I ended up transferring, but then it became COVID. But I played in the spring. That's when my 12 to 13 offers went to like 35. Then I committed to Alabama, and then I went there in the springtime of like 2019, 2020. I don't really remember, honestly. It's been a little minute.
During that period where you thought you might not play football anymore, what did you think was going to be next for you? Like, what was your future holding for you?
Honestly, I was in the gaming. I thought I was going to be like a 2K league player or something like that. That's what I do in my free time. So I really didn't see much of football in the future at that moment. I was really locking in on playing the game. And then a coach emailed me saying, do I want to play again? And I decided I did.
Tell me about the friends you had. Was Jabari one of them? When you were saying Jabari Laws, you're saying your friends who were playing big-time ball.
That wasn't one I was referring to.
Okay.
How do you go from Cal's offense when you look at tape?
They got a good running back, number 1, Jaden Ott, I believe his name is. Big, strong guy. They got good, capable receivers. They have a good team. You know, we just got to lock in and trust coaches on the keys that they're giving us, and I feel like if we do that, and we should be able to execute at a high level.
We saw some clips on Twitter after the game, after the Utah win. Just what were the emotions like in the locker room after that win?
Yeah, it was just a fun atmosphere in the locker room. We felt like our coaches were harping on us big time about us stopping the run and stuff like that. We felt like we lived up to it, so we were just excited to celebrate a little bit in the locker room. That's all that was.
Going back to your journey, you said you initially had like 12 or 13 offers, and then after that spring, it shot up to like 20 or 30. What changed?
Sure. I don't know. Honestly, I mean, I think the coaches, I ended up going to East Mississippi, so it was a little bit more exposure. And, you know, the whole last chance shoot thing, I was able to get, able to be seen more, really. I think that's the thing I could point out the most, I would say.
What was it like going from that then to like being at Alabama, where like at the time it's like that's the biggest school in the country, and I mean that had to have been quite the juxtaposition from thinking that you weren't going to keep playing football.
There's a lot of things that I had to like learn and grow from coming from the junior college thing, and I think that might be some of the reason why everything didn't work out. You know, some things I had to mature on and learn about. You feel me? As coming from a junior college player to being at now one of the top universities, so it was a learning stepping stone, and you know, me being here at Oregon has helped, and I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
Love to hear that, right? Wouldn't trade it for nothing. That's Kyrie Jackson talking with the media. Been a shutdown guy for the Ducks. Been a huge addition to Oregon's defense. Now a mainstay for Oregon's defense when we come back. Brandon Dorlus has been fun to watch in his career. We're going to hear a little bit from him getting ready for the Ducks and the Golden Bears at 2:30 on Saturday when we return to the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Tonight, Dan Lanning and Casey Rogers are guests on the Oregon Football Coaches Show, 7 o'clock across the Oregon Sports Network and on the Oregon Football social media channels. You can watch the show live. Heard from Kyrie Jackson a moment ago. Now Brandon Dorless. We continue to chat with some student-athletes here this week. Duck defensive lineman that talked a little bit more about what it's like moving from position to position along that defensive line. Brandon Dorless on that and a whole lot more with the media this week.
Coming off a big win, some people might be wondering if there's any threat of a letdown this week. Have you seen any signs of that from your team?
Nah, today probably a good physical practice, O-line, D-line, competitive, always getting chippy. I feel like we had a great period where it was like we had to score period or get a stop period, and that brought a good competition to the groups.
How do you feel for the D-line in particular, Brandon, to beat Utah that way after 21, where you guys took that the way you did 2 years ago to beat them in that way and to hold them that way?
Man, I felt good. I listened to this song, but I can't say the name of the song, but it's Get Back at MF, but it was good to get my get back against that team, finally leave Utah with a dub, and last year here too, so it felt really good. And the D-line did an amazing job. Linebackers it was a great team win.
Coach, just one of the more satisfying victories just because of what had happened the last time you guys were down there?
For sure, yeah. There was a lot of emotions from last game that played into this game. And, just every game is a must-win game for us. That's playoff football. You lose, you're done. So we all know that, and we all know what's at stake.
Coach was talking about how your versatility, your intelligence, but also your effort this year, all why you're being more disruptive this year. Why are all those things better for you right now?
I feel like my team is putting me in a great position to make plays. I'm sacrificing time for other teammates to make plays, and they're doing the same thing. We have a great chemistry on all right, this play is not for you, so you have to do your job. And we have, if it's meant for you, you're going to make your play. So I feel like they trust me to make plays, and they trust me to do my job when it's not made for me to do it.
Since you can play virtually every technique on the line, what is actually your favorite technique to play on the line?
It might change this year. I actually like getting shade on the center now. Last game we ran it. It just messes the center up. They never like a small dude right on top of them, and I always attack the snap hand. So I love playing the shade against the center.
How does Cal's tempo maybe change things? You talked about substitutions. If they're going fast, can you guys sub as much? Is that something you thought about?
Not really. I feel like the game plan this week really is stop the run, get him in second and longs, make him throw the ball. That's what we did at Utah. We stopped the run and we play left-handed. We knew they couldn't throw the ball downfield to beat us, and that's what we made them do.
How similar is what Cal's doing to what Kenny did around here last year? Because they're from the same kind of tree.
All that tempo. This is similar. So you're going to see the same kind of GT screen plays, chainsaw screens, similar draws, trap plays. They got a talented back, Jaden Ott. We played him last year. We feel like we got a good feel about him, and we're good.
To be at a career high right now in sacks, when this has obviously been part of the plan for you for a couple of years, but how's the season feeling for you, Brandon?
It feels good, man. I'm happy, I had a great game last week. My teammates encouraging me, coaches letting me play. It's just been time of my life, and I'm just getting ready to keep winning.
You guys are all obviously the defensive linemen playing fewer snaps, rotating more. Do you feel like that helps you just keeping you fresh throughout the season?
For sure, does. Sometimes I can start the game playing outside linebacker, and then I go off the field, I come back, I play nose, come off the field again, I play tackle. So, doing that, messes the offensive coordinator up a lot, makes them scheme, and, it gives O-line a hard time to, block.
The D line's a good mixture between guys that were here with the crystal ball era and the new guys that they've brought in. What do you think's been the key to like kind of that meshing between like the locker room there too, but then also what do you think that line looks like 3 or 4 years from now with like this definitely seems like that this is a focus for this staff putting together.
Yeah, I for sure saw that when Cristobal brought his dudes in, it was more of a physical up front dudes, and I feel like with Landon's mindset coming in, he brought the same type of freshman in, and these freshmen are playing up to the standard they see us playing every day, and it's great to see that. You got guys like Amari Washington, Ben Roberts, who get a lot of snaps, but they're doing good stuff with their snaps. It's just good to see that.
You played with so many different types of defensive linemen so far in your career here. I'm wondering how much that's helped you become as versatile as you've been able to come playing all those different spots.
Yeah, I played with a lot of dudes first in my freshman year to now. Kayvon, Jordan, Austin. I just try to always find little stuff from each other games. KT, the way he uses his hands. Jordan and Austin, how they play physical. I try to just match that. Just play my game. I don't try to do too much. That it's not gonna work for me. But I just try to do my stuff and work on that and perfect it.
What does facing an offense that runs so many RPOs, what stresses does that put on you guys up front?
This really just getting back, catching your breath, honestly. The tempo, it is annoying, but it's like every team we play in the package goes tempo. So, this is another week. We just got to do our job.
You played with a lot of urgency last year, and the plan was, you said what the plan was. Mm-hmm. The plan was to go.
Yeah.
There's the fact that there is no tomorrow, that there is no next year, that this has to be. Is that leading to this greater effort and even more urgency?
Yeah, for sure. For sure, like an emotional factor too. Every game before the game, I always thinking this is like the last one. It's coming to the end. So every game I got, every opportunity I got to play for Oregon, it's gonna be everything I got. I'm gonna get everything I have.
Were there one or two aspects that you really want to consistently put on tape this year, just to show scouts that you might not have seen this last year?
I feel like this year, just playing more inside against the run. Last year I feel like I was kind of going away from that, playing more on the edge against the run. I just showing these dudes I could just play anywhere. I could rush from inside, outside. I could stop the run inside, outside. Just show I'm a complete player, really.
You think you've proven that to this point?
I feel like I have, honestly. And I feel like if nobody believes it, I feel like I put it on tape, and I'm going to continue to put it on tape.
When you are moving as much as you do, does any part of you think maybe you're falling behind at one spot, or do you feel like it's all just kind of coming together over time?
I feel like just cross-training my body, my mind to do everything is going to make me a better player in the NFL, It's good to know what other people are doing, so you know what to do, and I feel like I'm doing a great job.
With Chuck working with the Ravens now, are you working just with Eddie in the offseason and talking to him, or throughout the year, or who else are you working with?
I haven't really decided on one person yet, but for sure Eddie will be somebody I'll get in contact with. He's a great dude I love working out with. I'll be in Texas working out a lot too, so.
He's got a bright future, I think. Brandon Dorlus. We had him on the coaches show week 3, I think. It was awesome talking to him. Brandon Dorlus. And I love talking with him about moving those position spots, how different it is along that defensive line, how that maybe has helped him grow in terms of being an NFL prospect. I think he's got a bright future in front of him. Quick time out earlier than normal. When we come back, Keon Ware Hudson. Going to hear a little bit from him as we continue with our football interviews and a whole lot more on a Wednesday Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. You get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Keon Ware-Hudson, a guy who will also be featured on our pregame show beginning at 12:30 on Saturday. He talked with Ryan Milano earlier this week, and he talked to the rest of the media here yesterday. And we've got that conversation finishing up Duck Insider today. Keon Ware-Hudson.
How'd it feel to have a career-high 5 stops, particularly against that team in that setting?
I felt great. It's definitely needed. It was a big game. All the outside noise and everything. So I felt like it was my time to step up and everything. So, I gave my best and showed effort.
What did that win mean to your room, given 2 years ago and given what those 2 games were 2 years ago?
Yeah, it meant a lot. That game is based off who wins the line of scrimmage. I felt like we definitely won a line of scrimmage, stopping the run and everything, then having the perimeter guys coming up and step up as well.
Outruns significant amount of RPOs. Right. Just how difficult is that to defend from your position, right. And how are you guys going about practicing that this week?
It's always difficult to stop RPOs because don't know which you're gonna get. I feel like our scout team is giving us the best look we could get. So, just every day in practice, watching film and trying to see the best advantage we could get.
What do you make of Jaden Ott too? Not 100% sure who will play, but what do you make of him as a player?
Explosive, be able to, he's patient, runs with square shoulders, could get on the second level really fast. So.
You guys feel like the defensive line put on film some of its best work, and is that maybe a measuring stick going forward of living up to that standard now that you've done it?
Yeah, I definitely feel like we haven't really reached our mark either. There's a lot of room to improve, within the pass game and the run game. So I feel like we could take the next level and improve each and every week.
You've trained with Brandon in the offseason the past couple of years. What's different about him this year where he's even more disruptive on a consistent basis?
Just him watching film a lot more. He always be telling me that he'd be doing that. He's doing the extra stuff. Just putting in the work. He's an older guy, so he already familiar with the scheme, the formations and all that. So he's really taking it to another level.
How much of what he's doing in terms of playing every technique allows the rest of you guys to either pair up differently in different combinations? Because he can literally go from 0 to 9. That offers a lot of versatility.
It does. Because offensive lineman would want to go slide the whole front one in to him. Like when I'm in there, I'll usually get a one-on-one. So we already know ahead of time, like, where's the slide going, trying to make sure they stop him and so he doesn't get the pressures.
Can you put into context just how difficult it is to do what he does from a physical standpoint?
Yeah. No, it's definitely, quick, explosive. He has power and everything. You don't really see that much in a few guys, but I feel like the mark he's set up for this season is really like he's improved drastically. So
the D-line has rotated a lot this year. I know that's something to do with matchups, things like that, but physically, how do you think that rotation all year long has helped you at this stage of the season? If you compare it to how you felt last year.
Can you repeat that again?
Good.
Yo.
The D-line has rotated a lot this year. Just how do you feel physically this year compared to last year where it wasn't as many rotations?
No, I feel great. Even last year, I felt like the same, but no, we definitely have rotated a lot throughout the games. It's a lot less on our bodies and everything. We have most of the guys get in there, get their feet wet, guys that we can count on. So, just taking advantage of the iron cross and everything, getting our guys comfortable. So,
What have you seen from Amari Washington? He's one of like the first interior guys off the bench as a freshman. Just what have you seen from him this year?
Oh, well, very explosive. Once he knows how to click it and get onto it, I feel like he's going to be unstoppable. You know, he's one of those guys that the coaches speak highly on. Just really could cause disruption up in the front.
Keon Ware-Hudson, and he'll again be with Ryan Milano as part of our pregame show coming up at 12:30 ahead of the 2:30 kickoff on Saturday. Jordan James met with the media briefly, talking about a little bit about the running back position. He's settled into that larger role this year. Jordan James meeting with the media this week.
How to feel to get your first receiving touchdown, and what did you see on that one?
It felt good. It was a good check by both, so it was just kind of pretty. It was pretty wide open, so let them execute.
Do you know pre-snap that it's going to be that when he's making the checks that he's making there? Or do you realize, do you think it's going to be that open?
Yeah, I know. I know when Bo makes a check, he sees something. So.
What makes your competitiveness come out in practice? Full players from Florida State. You're a really competitive guy.
Yeah, it's just my teammates. All my teammates are super competitive on the offensive side of the ball and on the defensive side of the ball. So, and we have a great running back room that's also super competitive. So that helps me a lot.
Is that natural to you? Have you always just been a really competitive person?
Yeah, most definitely. I want to be the best at everything I do. That's special teams, running back, anything. So,
what does when you say that running back room is pretty really competitive? What does that look like? Can you kind of give me an example? Are you guys just trying to beat each other all the time?
It's just working hard in practice. You know, it's just going out there and just doing your job, doing your role for the team. So,
your thoughts on just the stretch run in November, not looking too far ahead? How well do you guys have done that so far this season?
Yeah, we've done a pretty good job at that, keeping it one game at a time. We just got to continue to keep it, take it play by play, game by game.
Is there something about you that makes you so prone to finding the end zone, or has that just been a lot of the situation? Like, is there anything about your running style that you think attributes to the fact that you've scored so many touchdowns?
My coaches have done a good job of putting me in positions to where I can, score as many touchdowns as I score. That's all.
Jordan James meeting with the media, the Oregon running back who caught that big play, and we all heard Bo Nix break it down, what he saw, and you just hear it there, that he's confident that, hey, when there's a check, something good's coming. And that's what Jordan James was talking about there. Cafe Yumm 2-minute drill. Men's golf is off to a great start. How about this? Greg Solhag turned in the best performance of his career. The 19th ranked Oregon men's golf team shot an 8-under 208, tied for third at the Cal Poly Invitational. They wrapped up yesterday. Solhag and Nate Stember each finished in the top 10 as the Ducks placed fourth in a field of 15. Also, Oregon Acrobatics and Tumbling announced its schedule yesterday. Begins in February, once at home, once on the road against Baylor. That's usually the big-time matchup for Taylor Susnara's squad. Coach's show coming up tonight. That is your Cafe Yumm 2-minute drill. Cafe Yumm restaurants throughout Oregon and Washington. 23 Cafe Yumm restaurants. CafeYumm.com. Coach show tonight. We'll see you then.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's